How did I quilt this mariner's compass? I never thought I would make a mariner's compass. It always looked too complicated to me. I do like them, but I thought there's no way in heck I'm going to be able to do one of those. Not with all those points and all the intricacies and how careful you have to be with your 1/4 inch seams. And you know what? It's not as difficult as I thought it was. I took a class. I think it was the first class I ever took, actually. And aside from being fiddly, like you do have to get your points even like that. But it really wasn't as hard as I thought it was. So I'm glad I made it. I like the color combinations I picked. The fabric, you don't often see brown and blue together, but they seem to go very well with this quilt. It sat on quilted for a good while though. I wasn't comfortable machine quilting yet when I got it. I was just starting, or when I made it, sorry. And hand quilting, I was looking at it. I never could come up with an idea. I often say that quilts tell me how to quilt them, and this one wasn't talking. So I put it away for a while. I brought it back out. I started doing some quilting. It wasn't going. When I try to quilt something without an idea or without the quilt telling me what it wants, it doesn't turn out. So I pulled it out, put it back away, and then I took it out again finally a couple of years ago, and I decided to just go ahead and do it. So this was one of those quilts where I decided how I was going to quilt it as I went along. I had an idea of what I wanted, but it wasn't firmly imprinted. So because I had quilted, I had to start in the middle. And I just did radiating lines outside from the center. And then I continued with the radiating lines in the triangles. The wider the triangle, the more lines it got. So the smaller triangles got 3 lines, the wider ones got 5. Once I was finished with the circle, I started doing echo quilting around the curve. I wanted to soften the sharp points and lines there. Then when I moved out to these triangles, I just did straight lines down the sides. The circle imitated what I did in the middle, but instead of echo quilting around it, around the corners, what I did was the straight lines pointing towards the circles. That's how I did that. For the first border, I just did a straight line through it. The second border I left unquilted so it would come up a little bit. The remaining triangles and shapes, I echo quilted inside to give it the shape. And then finally, well not finally, but then the corner here was, each corner was cross hatched. And then finally along this border, I did just like a curvy, unplanned type thing. I just went down, up and down, up and down, up and down. If you look at the back, you don't really see the quilting very much. Again, because it's hand quilting. Unless you do very dense hand quilting, it doesn't usually show too much in the back. So I'm pleased. I'm glad I made this quilt. I don't know if I would make another one. And if I did, I'm not sure how I would quilt it. The mariner's compass you can quilt in many, many different ways. But I like how this one turned out. And like I said, it's hand quilted. And I kept this one because it's kind of a favorite. And that's how I quilted the mariner's compass.